compared to the electron. So yeah, so it will cover, the spectrum will cover the beginning from normal condition until it is recovered to normal. So this is the concept of resilient impulse system. So if you look at, if we consider like in distribution system, network reconfiguration, during distribution, maybe some of the substation flooded, so the system need to reconfigure so that the power can be supplied to other through other routes. So this is during this one, they try to absorb, and during the condition, they try to work as minimum. For sure, when this happens, it will drop. But after that, the recovery is fast as compared to non-resilient system. So it covers very fast. Okay. So all of this representing the concept of resilience in all system. So in summary, for all system, the resilient should have able to withstand, lessen, and adapt from the previous event. So let's say they have flood, and flood happen, they have the data, they know that which substation will be flooded and how the system behavior. This data should be used in the resilience of the system. And then anticipate risk. Anticipate risk. I mean, they need to do a simulation studies. If this happen, what is the best strategy to do? Minimize the impact, absorb impact, handle uncertainties. Okay, because during extreme weather, we do not know the magnitude of the extreme weather. How is it? When it happen, when it will end, we do not know. So a lot of statistical analysis involved when we want to do this analysis. And healthy section. Mean we just remove the part that cannot be safe. The part that can be safe, we will isolate. Mean we will operate as usual. Okay, so usually researchers a bit confused between reliability and resilience. Okay, we know the reliability usually is presented by reliability index like SciFi, KID, MyFi. This is the well-known index in reliability. But in terms of resilience, there is a differences. So if you look at we do a comparison between reliability and resilience, the main factor here is that important factor covering low probability, high, whereas reliability, high probability events. Meaning, look at the with n-1 analysis, meaning we remove one generator, how the system behave. So n-1. So the probability to happen is high. Maybe due to mistake of the operator, but the impact is low. Because only one line removed, so the impact is low. Whereas the problem is, but the impact here. If, for example, they say that during the Sandy storm in US, the situation is n-90, meaning a lot of outages happen, a lot of equipment broke down during that time. Covering static, whereas resilience during the duration. Reliability focus more on the state of the system. The frequency, mean, is it power there or not? So they have this like SciFi, the frequency, the number of outages, whereas resilience focus more on the evaluation of system state, the transition time, customer interaction time, whereas resilience is small, not only customer, qualitative, it can be quantitative. Qualitative, it covers the whole spectrum of the infrastructure, meaning it is not only covering specific on power system, but anything related to the power system. For example, the gas supply to energize the power plant, the diesel supply. So this is considered. And the way how they did it is usually using survey, and checklist and questionnaire. Whereas quantitative, they measure the level of resilience. The level of resilience. It can be simulation-based method, it can be analytical, it can be statistical analysis. And at the moment, there is no standard in terms of quantitative or qualitative. Yeah. So another important things in resilience is we call it resilience framework. Resilience framework is a step or procedure in order for us to measure and improve the system. Basically, the concept not only when it happened, before it happened, it is a continuous process. Okay, for example, first step is to recognize the threat event. Is it natural disaster? Is it cyber attack? Is it terrorist attack? And then if this is how we measure the resilience numbers, in terms of numbers, like index, reliability index, but we call it metrics. Time of restoration, load shedding, area of resilience, triangular, the method, and then evolution result. And the process is continuous. And there are a lot of frameworks have been proposed by various researchers. This is one of the example. Okay, this is another two examples. So you can see that all of the framework, the process is continuous, meaning when the event is end, we still always need to analyze the system, whether the system ready to face the extreme condition or not. And we need to have the data during the events, resilience state, degrade state, restoration state. So we need to have a lot of measurement, and this can be done because now we have a lot of smart grid, a lot of measurement. So all of data will be useful to improve the system. So if you look here, vulnerability, adaptability study, and then identify and parallel enhancement measurement. Okay, because we can do in terms of hardening the system, or we can do it in terms of more measurement in terms of techniques. We can analyze the cost benefit and this implement. So this is other example. There are more of framework that are available in the literature. So as I said, basically all of that, the process is continuous. The process continuous. Some of it little bit detailed, some of it general. So basically the framework is important to provide the procedure or the step how we can measure and evaluate the result of the system and make it more resilient. So next, the important uh, concept in resilience is metrics. Matrices, and how we measure the resilience. Okay, how we measure the resilience. So I just provide some metrics that are literature of more. For example, this is from this reference. Most resilient number of probability times the impact of the power system. And alpha I here represent the different type of event. Alpha I can be a hurricane, can be flood. So based on this, it will calculate the resilience. And the most simplest resilience metric is this one over the loss. The loss is here, the loss of low supply according to T time. So this is another example of resilience metrics. And at the moment, there is no standard metrics or indexes available. This is another more simpler example where we integrate from 0 to this part, 0 to T. Okay, to see this is the recovery time. Mean during the event, when the event happens, and then after that it will recover. So it will integrate from 0 to the time to t. So all of this actually example, and this one a little bit complicated because the matrices measuring different phase. Phase A, phase 1, 2, 3, and each of the phase have specific equation. Okay, specific equation. So how we can improve the resilience of power system? So there are three ways. In general, there are three. First, we make the grid stronger and bigger. We know when the becomes super grid, it is more stable. One big power plant loss, the other power plant can cover the loss of the power supply. And more stable in terms of frequency. Okay, and grid stronger meaning here we make it the system, for example, the structure of the tower stronger to withstand the wind, so that it is more strong when there's a very fast wind happen. We can do it become more smarter, This is involving a lot of things. One of it that we'll cover today is on the microgrids. Smarter grid is smart grid, meaning we have a lot of measurement. From the measurement, we can do a lot of prediction. We can do operation from that to make a decision. And another important aspect is this one, advanced visualization, meaning the software, the interface should be able to show accurate events in the system in real-time manner. Okay? The most suitable to make the grid stronger, bigger, and smarter. This is the economical solution. Because if you look here, in terms of cost, if you want to make the system, the infrastructure is by hardening or reinforced measurement, like you make it a more stronger pole, you use more underground cable, but in terms of cost, it is less affordable, it's expensive. And if you are using smart operational measure, the cost is more affordable because nowadays measurement is cheap, not as previous. IoT, a lot of equipment smaller and the price become less. So the best solution, according to the literature, they say we covering both. Mean we try to hardening, we try to balance between these two, so that the system become stronger and at the same time become smarter. Okay, so with the smart system, we have gathered a lot of data. From data, we can use it for preventive measure. Before the thing happen, we already know what to do. Okay, so this is the aspect of resilient in power system. It can be vulnerability analysis, operational resilience, and future planning and adaptability. Okay, it can be system hardening, redundancy, meaning we create a lot of backup. Mean extra backup, extra transformer, but it's become expensive as shown here. Okay, so in the resilient, actually it opened a lot of opportunity to do research. A lot of opportunity to do research. Because sometimes we think that power system is already saturated, but actually there are things that can still be explored. Previously, we are looking on the smart grid, but now we are looking on the resilience. This is some example that possible research can be done related to resilience. So one of it is, later we explain a little bit more detail, some of that. And the thing that important nowadays is microgrid. Okay, because microgrid initially it was developed with the purpose of integrating the renewable energies. That's the main purpose. Until when a lot of extreme weather happened, they realized that microgrid actually improve the resilience of the system. Here's few example. Okay, this is benefit of microgrid. Okay, just list down the benefit. If you look here, this is initial idea why they want to have microgrid, improving local energy delivery because the power generation is close to the load, reliability, meaning it's connected, the load, the houses still have a power supply, maybe from the energy storage, from the wind, cost effectiveness, okay, generate revenues. This is feed-in tariff. For example, in Malaysia, we have solar. For those who are having solar, they sell their electricity to the TNB double as compared if you buy electricity from the TNB. And Tenaga Nasional is the power utility in Malaysia. We buy 1 kilowatt hour around 20 cent, but if we sell to the TNB from the solar, we sell 1 ringgit 20 cent. It's very good things actually. But nowadays the quota is finishing, no longer, so we cannot install PV in our rooftop. So minimize environmental impacts, of course, because we have solar power, wind, so we reduce the dependency on the non-conventional power plant. Okay. And finally is improving power system resilience. Okay, let's see some example about how a proof concept that how the help during these three events. This is in the East Japan earthquake 2011, Super Stormy Sandy 2012, and this is in Chile. Okay. So if you look at here, in Japan, they call it Great East Japan earthquake, and because the impact is very huge, the impact is very severe. Okay, because the tsunami, the earthquake and then the tsunami. So you can see from the photo, we can imagine how bad is this. So with the microgrid, this is the area, see that microgrid. During this event, it keeps supplying critical loads to the university and with hospital, okay, for 2.5 days. Whereas the other area, the total power is disconnected. And this is still in 38 kilowatt, it's serving the area, okay, whereas the other also disconnected. And this is in United States, 2012 Super Storm Sandy. So during this event, for 7.5 million people lost power across 15 states. Whereas in New York, New Jersey, this university, because they have a microgrid, combined heat and power. So this shows that with microgrid, during this extreme condition, the microgrid still can operate. Because it depends, maybe on the solar PV from the wind. So it still can operate, at least it can operate to supply critical load like hospital. Okay, so this is another example of microgrid that very useful during the Chile events. This is 2012, a mud avalanche, large water inflow, 2014 earthquake, 2014 storm in Chile. So you can see that a lot of events happen, but during this condition, the microgrid in Atacama Desert have survived. I mean, it still continue. If you look at 3 month continuous outage, but the areas have power supply from the microgrid. This 2014, 17 hours blackout, 38,000 consumer affected. Okay, so but these areas they have supply due to their having microgrid. So this is the advantage of microgrid, meaning in general, by having microgrid, it can improve the resilience. So the operation of power supply is not totally zero, but at a minimum condition, it still can survive. So in terms of microgrid, there are a lot of potential research that can be explored. And for example, in terms of control stability, because when microgrid is connected from the grid, the control operation of the microgrid is different when it is connected to the grid. So there will be changes, and the system should be adaptive. So it cannot be specific. For example, if we have the PI controller, for example, So the value need to be changed. It cannot be specific because the situation is changed. Okay. And this is another possible research in the microgrid network formation strategy. Okay, oops. Network formation strategy. So the point here is that when microgrid distribution system is connected from the system, we need to decide which generator will supply which load. So is it we need to do a sub-island, smaller island, or just one big island? Because theoretically, if you have a smaller island, it's more stable, easier to manage compared to large island. Yeah. But it also open a research in terms of communication or monitoring. We know in microgrid nowadays we have a lot of communication, so the data is fetched to a control center. So using that data, we can use it for operation purposes, for example, or for identify events. Yeah? And other potential area also like the definition of resilience and also the framework, because the matrices also not yet being finalized. There's no standard in terms of how to evaluate the resilience, and also the framework also there's no standard. So the advantage if you have a standard, so all the researchers or the power utility can use as a common ground to design a resilient practice electrical system. Okay, so that's about the possible research. So this is the research that I have done, my students have done in the past. For example, it's on the power management system for microgrid, considering meteorological and load demand data. So this is the what you call it, the objective. So if you look here, this is the in general the microgrid system. Here we have diesel generator, this is battery, PV and the load. Although we seems the system is simple because we only have 1, 2, 3, 4, but actually the control mechanism is not easy. When the grid is disconnected, the whole control here need to be changed. For example, when the photovoltaic here, as we know, it is not consistent the irradiance. As a result, it will cause a lot of fluctuation in terms of the power. Okay, the power will be fluctuate. Okay, fluctuate. So we need to make a control here how we can manage the battery to smoothing the power. With the battery, the power becomes smooth, little bit smooth. Okay? So this is all the objective, and this one important because if we think about resilience, when the system is disconnected from the grid due to extreme condition, the whole system here need to operate by itself. So different control need to be done, different managing, different load need to be monitored. So this is another example of related to microgrid that has been done in the past. In the system, we are considering the fuel cell to operate few houses residential area. And here the contribution in this research is to identify, to find the optimized battery sizing. Because commonly when they create the microgrid, develop microgrid, they just use a big battery, which is sometimes is not necessary, or it will only increase the cost of the system. So that's why one of the objective here to use a mixed mode, okay, to reduce the microgrid overall daily operation. Because sometimes we can use battery, sometimes we can use the fuel cell to supply power. So the main contribution, this is the paper that's been published before, is in terms of the smoothing, the proposed method. This is the normal method, MA method, CS method. So if you look at it here, the difference is that by using the proposed method in this work, the operation of the battery here, charging, discharging, positive discharge, negative charging, it is minimized as compared if you are using the conventional method. You can see the battery is worked very hard as compared to the proposed method, whereas it's very minimal. So the advantage is that it will prolong the lifespan of the battery because the operation is less as compared to the normal method. This is in terms of smoothing. Okay, smoothing also can be explored in this area, in the microgrid area. Yeah? Okay, and then another possible topic is in terms of smart distribution system. Smart distribution system. So what is the area that can be explored? Let's say this is our system. This is the grid. This is distribution system. So number one is islanding detection. How the system here, the distributed generation here, know that the grid is disconnected in a very fast manner. In a very fast manner. How they know? Without using communication. So this is one of a big area that can be explored. Microgrid formation, as I said, if islanding happen, thus we need to manage the microgrid in such manner where it will have a smaller island. And then islanding operation, when this happen, in the islanding mode, the control, the dispatch of the power from the DG need to be managed properly. And then we have here, meaning if this happen, we're not able to supply all the load here. Okay, the load cost is not enough. So some of the load need to be removed. Okay, so this is the topic that's been done previously in terms of islanding detection technique using minimum power parameters. This is a standard IEEE test system to analyze the effectiveness of islanding detection. This is IEEE 1547 based on the standard. So how we know that when the grid is this part is disconnected, how the microgrid here, the DG here know that this happened. So there are a few examples that can be done, technique. So in this technique, the technique here proposed by the student, they are analyzing 16 different power system parameters. Okay, it can be DPD. So from this analysis, he found out that the FDQ is the most sensitive to differentiate between islanding and non-islanding. So you can see here, this is islanding, load increment 0, load increment also 0. So this one is very effective to identify the effectiveness. This parameter is more suitable to identify islanding events. So other area is on the load shedding area. Because during load shedding, when this islanding happen, the frequency will drop. This is a normal condition. So when islanding happen, it will drop because the power is not sufficient to supply all the load. So whatever we need to remove some of the load. So the issue here, which load we will remove. So this may involve optimization. We cannot remove critical load at hospital. So during islanding, frequency drop. So when it is remove some of the load, frequency will start to recover slowly. So this is in terms of load shedding area. Load shedding. This is now another example of load shedding scheme proposed by one of my students. This is the test system. So in this contribution here, she using the frequency and voltage stability index to analyze the system stability. So there are 7 stability index that we have tried, and this is some of the example. So we can see that this is the frequency response. When islanding happens, frequency drop. When we remove some of the load, frequency will recover. So if you are using the proposed method here, under frequency load shedding, considering the voltage and different indexes, it is recovered fast and there is no what you call it, the magnitude is also low. So this is the best. So you can see also the term of voltage. The voltage is like this. Not only frequency stable, but the voltage becomes stable when we move the load. But we cannot remove any load. It must be, we need to optimize. We need to find the best condition. And then this is another example. Okay. be speed up. Will be disconnected from the system for the protection purposes. So this is another area that can be explored in the network configuration. So during operation, so in this area we want to find configuration to provide the minimum losses, but in this work you also constrain the switching sequence. We know what is the best combination, but we want to know the step switches.
बिल्कुल सही चला इसको डीसी कर हमने सब स्टार्ट किया सर
So this is a little bit network 118 test system. So here we are in the test here. We considering the network reconfiguration plus the DG, distributed generation. We want to find what is the best size of the DG. This is some
यहाँ पर हो सकता है सिग्नल का भी मसला
available. So
है
you can
स्ट्रीमिंग
see
में भी
that it is improving the voltage
दो कैसे आ रही
profile.
हैं
इसलिए हमने बंद नहीं करी हुई है जो चेक कर रहे हैं चलती रही
इसको बंद कर दूँ
अभी रुक जाइए
So, in general, I would like to make a presentation today. From the analysis of the weather, we can see the frequency and intensity of weather are increasing. So it is causing a lot of damage, not only to life but also the infrastructure of the system.
आवाज क्या नहीं बिल्कुल क्लियर
And therefore, it is important for us to ensure that the system, our system, is resilient. So, in order to improve the system, there are a lot of research that we can done in terms of producing new framework. And one of the key features in improving resilience is microgrid. So, more attention should be given to microgrid, how we can manage this properly during extreme condition. And not only in power system area, but actually resilient issue also open to other aspect of research like electronic, control, communication, computer science, and etc. So with that, I end my presentation today. Thank you very much for your attention.